is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday Swing for the Fences show. Joined by my two boys, Mango. Gary is in for Mango. Mango's out on the golf course playing with BigT. Gary in instead. Hoop, on the other hand, and Apone said it best at the first comment. Last night sucked. Last night did suck, at least for me over here. And I am definitely excited. When I pulled up the slate and I saw 13 games, I was very excited that we had another big one to bounce back from, because I definitely missed on a lot of stuff yesterday. It was a very tough one of the lowest scoring slates you'll see. So I'm excited. That's in the back of us, and we got a good 13 game slate today. Who look at pitching wise, I think there's a lot of good options up top. Unlike yesterday in the mid tier, I think there's some good options too. Some people make a case to go down low. Personally, not me, but I think there are some options you maybe can consider. And then bats, Coors Field, and it's not going to be owned Coors Field, which is always makes me a little excited. A lot of other good spots around the slate too. So what are your thoughts on the slate? How's your Tuesday going?
Yeah, going well. I mean, hopefully it goes better than Monday night, because that was a disaster. I mean, that's one of those slates though. It's like, if you're going to get crushed, that's one where like, I don't mind that sort of way. Cause like drawing dead
that
like,
early.
Yeah. Like you're just, it was over. Like if you didn't have like the Tiger, I guess the Tigers were the winning team. I mean, so if you
I was going to say AP. Yeah.
We did talk about it and I didn't end up fucking playing it. We talked about it on the show in depth. We're like, Mania is going to be popular. Some of these Tiger bats, I think AP played it. I didn't end up
Eric
playing
Haas he had. So same page for me.
Yeah, but it was over early. I mean, no one got anything going. And then the Dodgers, I mean, they just have a way of just like laying down to bad pitches. Like they don't work the at bat at all. They swing early. I think Espinino or whatever his name is had like 11 pitches in the first inning. I mean, I think
it might be time to give them up, Hoop. Hey, or are you just gonna go right back tonight?
They were heating up a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I mean, probably play a little bit. They do have a big total sitting there at 5.6.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's always sitting there.
Yeah. I'm gonna be back on them most likely, but yeah, I mean, it's a big slate, a ton of pitching options, ton of hitting. It's a 13 game slate. If you like Coors, you don't need to be worried about the ownership. There's a lot of teams with team totals over 5.5, so it's gonna be spread out, I think, quite a bit tonight. So pick your spot, roll with it. We have solid pitching, so it's like a slate that it's fun to play.
Yeah, definitely. And I do have to give credit to Joey Work. Alan Hayes said good call on Merrill Kelly. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't on Merrill Kelly until Joey Works' comment. The more we talked about it, it definitely made sense. And man, Merrill Kelly absolutely shoved. So good call, Joey Work. Yeah, definitely, absolutely smashed. And I think Big T liked him on the premium show as well. So always good to get a lot of different minds, a lot of sharp minds for the coordinators in MLB, and then members too. They say stuff in the Discord. Like Gary, you've been in Discord all day talking about this slate. What's your initial thoughts on it? How's your Tuesday going?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like this slate a lot. I love these slates where we can just jam in these upper tier pitchers and just move on about our day. Complete opposite from yesterday. I was on the Merrill Kelly train, and then yesterday, and then Joey Work just kind of solidified it with his little stat for San Francisco that he put in there. So that's one thing I got right. I had some Detroit mini stacks yesterday, but I had them with the Dodgers, and unfortunately, that did mean nothing on yesterday's slate. But I think we can go right back to the well with the Dodgers tonight if you want to. I mean, Josiah Gray is just really bad against left-handed bats. But we'll talk about that game a little bit further. But yeah, I absolutely love the pitching on this slate. And I don't think we're going to see any crazy ownership on these guys, because I think all these top guys are going to get some. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's a good slate. There's not clear chalk hitting. There's not clear chalk pitching. I think it'll be pretty spread out, 13 games. For as far as weather, I think everything's going to play today. If anything changes in Discord, we'll talk about it at the lock show, but we're going to go based on everything playing cleanly. Let's dive right into the slate. Do us a favor, hit that like button for us, please. Hit that subscribe button. We always do appreciate it. We're going to start at pitching as always, though. FanDuel has done a better job with pitching than DraftKings has all year for sure. Look at the top range. McClanahan, 10.3K only. Aaron Nola, 10K. Two of the better pitchers in baseball right there. Should be 11.5, 11K, something like that. But there's some other options for sure. Spencer Strider has been throwing, I mean, Gary, we'll touch on him quick, but man, he has been so good. There's Luis Garcia, Steve Boynton's dude. There's a lot of good options we'll go to. I'll say 8.5K and above. I'm not sure you'll have interest in George Kirby. He's back from the minors, but Strider 8.7, Luis Garcia 9.1, Big boys up top. I'll go to you, Gary. Touch on, I didn't mention Carlos Rodon, which shows how good this pitching slate is. Touch on pitching 8.5K and above.
Yeah, so I mean, it starts right at the top with the leading candidate for Cy Young, in my opinion, Shane McClanahan, 10.3. I mean, DraftKings just continues not to price these guys where they should be. 10.3K against Baltimore in Baltimore. I'm going to play a ton of Shane McClanahan. He is definitely my number one pitcher on the slate when you factor in. I don't even think he's going to be the highest owned. So I think Nola might come in a little bit higher owned than him, which is interesting to me against my Braves. But I mean, Nola's also a good play. I mean, he's faced the Braves twice this season. He's got 8 strikeouts and 10 strikeouts and those two matchups. So the upside is definitely there for Nola. But I'm gonna side on the Shane McClanahan side of that coin flip there and just move on about my day. Rodon is another guy. He's coming off I think a couple down performances. He's in Arizona here. I think he's gonna put up a big score here. I like him a ton as well. So those three, obviously, it's going to be Shane McClanahan 1 for me, Rodon 2, and Nola 3 for those three. And then I don't have any interest in anybody until we get down to Luis Garcia. He has also been really good over the last month. He's got a 28% strikeout rate, 3.38 SIERA over the last month. And it's great matchup here. So I'm going to have a ton of him. I think he's probably going to be the lowest owned out of the 4 guys I've already mentioned, or probably the 5th lowest owned if you count Strider too. So I definitely love me some Luis Garcia in Oakland. And Strider, 8.7K, coming off 2 disappointing performances for his standards, but he was up over 9K those starts. He's back under 9K here, 8,700 for a guy that has the 2nd highest strikeout rate on the slate to Shane McClanahan at 37%. Got a 2.46 SIERA. I'm definitely not afraid of this Philadelphia lineup. So yeah, I definitely love Strider. So in summation here, I think I'm going to go Shane 1, probably Luis Garcia 2, just for ownership purposes, then Strider, then Rodon, and then Nola.
Yeah, I like it. Very good breakdown for sure. A lot of options that are at 8.5K and above, unlike yesterday. Definitely a different. I'm mainly going to be focusing on my 2 pitchers up here in this range. We'll get to a couple guys below you can maybe target. One thing I did want to point out, if you're trying to look at a difference from how you differentiate Aaron Nola or McClanahan, I mean, the weather is pretty good in Philly. Winds gently blowing out, whereas you look at Camden Yards, it's a little cooler there. We know how Camden Yards, the park nowadays. So I do agree with you. And I think ownership, I think you're right. I think Nola will be higher owned than McClanahan. So everything you said, I agree with you. McClanahan is my favorite in GPPs. You look at K props, McClanahan leads the slate 7.5, -150 on the over. Nola 7.5, Rodon 7.5, little juice on the under. But that's where people are going to see Spencer Strider, who has 7.5 juice on the over as well, at only 8.7K, so you get the discount. So I think he is the popular one below 9K if you have to go there. Hoop, a lot of good options on today's slate, 8.5 and above. Talk about it.
It's really tough to separate these guys when you start looking at it. I mean, again, we talk about it every show. Like DK continues to just do a very piss poor job of pricing these guys. Like these studs need to be closer to like 12K. Like McClanahan should be 12K. Nola should be like 11.5. And then, you have to make some decisions at the position. FanDuel does a better job with the pitching pricing, but like we always talk about, their hitting pricing is just god awful. I mean, just so bad, which kind of negates the fact that they're doing a good job with the pricing. So moving aside from that, really hard to separate these guys. I agree. McClanahan, I think, number one, in terms of raw points, he's the guy. Love Nola at 10K. For me, I think Rodon probably is an odd man out for me here in this matchup, just because of the recent performance. Like we haven't seen, he had the one really, really good start against San Diego, but outside of that, kind of just average and 4 of his last 5 starts. So he's probably the guy out for me. Then I'll come down to Luis Garcia at 9.1K, who you have to love in this matchup against Oakland. They got to Odorizzi last night, but this is a different pitcher. Luis Garcia has been solid, so in on him. And I think Strider is just a phenomenal tournament play. I mean, the upside is so massive. I think people might forget about him a little bit because it's been 2 straight starts where he hasn't been awesome. Against the Mets, he only went 4 2/3, 8 strikeouts, and then against the Nationals, he was terrible. So I think he has the potential to go a little overlooked today. And the upside with him is it's slate breaking upside. Like he can go out and get you 40 and break the slate. So these guys up here, McClanahan, Nola, Garcia, Strider, I'm going to mix and match all these guys. If you're doing 150, I'd highly recommend, getting overweight on those guys. If you're doing, 20 lineups, I'd recommend getting some exposure to all because they all have the slate breaking upside, and you're going to need it on the slate. There's going to be some big pitching performances. You're going to need 2 guys that put up big scores.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Let's go down a little bit. 8.5K and below. The one that's staring me in the face is Mike Clevinger taking on Detroit. Yeah, we saw Detroit yesterday for sure. They're way better against lefties than they are righties, though. Manaea just hasn't been great at all, so I'm not putting too much stock into that. I think he's totally fine at 8-1 if you need the savings there. Outside of him, though, Jose Berrios against St. Louis. Any interest for you guys there? All the way down, I see Ethan Small, the good projection for Milwaukee. I'm going to stack against that dude. We'll get to that later, but I don't think there's any merit to go all the way down at pitching on a slate like this. Hoop, I feel like you have similar thoughts since we talked about good or how good the upper tier is, but talk about 8-5 and below.
Yeah, I really just looking at the slate don't want to go under Clevinger. I think Clevinger is a great play at 8.1K. The price tag's really, really good. Fair price tag on FanDuel as well, where he's coming in at 8-1. So 8-1 on both, 8-1 on both sites. In an ideal world, I don't play anyone under him, and I'm going to make I haven't built teams yet, but when I go to build teams,
I think you'll be able to. I was doing it, and I'm not gonna. Barrios is the one people are talking about. There's no Goldie, no Arenado in the series, as people said, but I'm still with you. And
how dumb is that? There. That's freaking ridiculous that Toronto's still doing that bullshit. Seriously, they should be
maybe next year that it'll finally be normal.
They should be stripped of home games, honestly. it's complete, absolute garbage bullshit. Now, whatever. Anyhow, if you are going cheap, if you want to, like I said, I don't think I'm going to end up coming down here. I think there's 2 guys to consider. I'd go all the way down, though. I'm not messing with the 6K guys, 7K guys that come all the way down to Zerpa for the Royals, 5.7K, and then I guess maybe some of your boy Ethan Small at 5.3. But ideally I don't come down here. So I'm going to try to end most of my teams with Clevinger. As you said, you've built a little bit and it sounds like it's easy. So that will be my goal. Cause I just think, man, between Clevinger and, 4 or 5 of those guys up top, 2 of those, you probably need like 50 to 60 fantasy points at pitcher in GPPs tonight. And, those guys at the bottom, I don't think have that upside. So you're going to need big scores at pitcher. So give me Clevinger and above as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure. I see this Ethan Small dude with a decent projection. Talk to me, Gary. I was watching the Brewers a little bit yesterday. They were talking about this dude. He had a first outing in the MLB against the Cubs. He couldn't even go 3 innings. He got 5 fantasy points. The control looks like a problem. Announcers were talking about how he went to the minors with like an 8 ERA. He comes back. He goes, he's doing better with like a 4.5 ERA or something. What is this dude supposed to do against? I like the Twins. I'm going to be stacking the Twins in Milwaukee too. Like, what am I missing with this projection? I'm generally confused. I don't know a ton about the guy, but from what I heard, it's not great.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of digging in on Ethan Small. He is the Brewers now de facto #1 pitching prospect. I think he's the 8th ranked prospect in their system. He's just not ready yet. I think this is a case of a pitcher that needs to stay down in AAA for another year or so before and get his pitch mix correct before he comes up. So I'm not going to have any Small. I see the projection too, and I just can't do it. But I do like a cheap guy down here that y'all didn't mention. If you need to, I wouldn't do it in anything less than 20 lineups. Spencer Watkins is a guy. He's 5,800. He's coming off 4 straight 19 DraftKings point performances. He just gets your lineup just a little bit different. Just sprinkle him in 20 or more lineups. I think I would not do it in any kind of single entry 3 max or anything less. Like I said, anything less than 20 lineups. But I do like him quite a bit here. This Tampa Bay, I'm not scared of this Tampa Bay lineup at all. So he would be my one guy down here. I think I like Jose Berrios a little bit more than you two. I mean, he's just been really good. If you look at his underlying stuff over the last month, he's got a 26% strikeout rate, 5% walk rate, 3.32 Sierra over the last month. His underlying stuff looks really good on him, and we're going to get a watered down St. Louis lineup here. So I definitely like him a ton. And I'm also all in on Clevenger here. I mean, it's hard not to be in on him against this Detroit team, even though they just put up 20 million runs yesterday. He looks really good as well. So I definitely I think Clevenger and or Berrios is on main team contention for me at this point. I think I'm leaning on DraftKings. I'm gonna play McClanahan and play one of these two guys. I haven't fully decided yet, but I love both.
I like it. K. Fleek Burner, our boy K. Fleek, he said, find someone that loves Spencer Watkins more than Gary.
I know who it is. Who it is.
Who is it?
What's his name? He's no longer with RPS.
You're talking Pensac?
Yeah, Pensac.
Yeah, I forgot he was Spencer Watkins truther for sure. I did forget that. But I'm glad you brought him up because Travis Duarte, before he even started talking, Spencer Watkins been turning it up. So there you go, K-Ful League. Maybe Pensac is a little bigger fan than Gary. I hope everything's going well, Pensac. All right, let's rank pitcher. There's a lot of them. I'm gonna say 4 pitchers. I think there is more than 4 you can play on this slate, but I assume a lot of the listeners only played a couple lineups, maybe 20 entry. Gary, give me your top 4 in order.
So it's definitely gonna be Shane for me, number 1, and then probably Clevenger and Berrios, number 2 and 3 for me, just for price. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to play which one I'm going to play on my main team tonight, but definitely love the 2 of them. And then Luis Garcia would probably be my 4th guy.
I like it. Give me your top 4 pitchers.
Yeah, it's going to be Clevenger 1, just because that price tag at 8.1K. McClanahan 2. I love that pairing. And then terms of GPPs, Strider, I think, is a really good GPP play. Like I said, I think he might be the guy that's the odd man out because of his last couple performances. And what'd you say that K prop was? Like 7.5?
7.5 juice on the over.
Yeah, I think he's an awesome term play tonight.
I'm not sure how overlook he's going to be, unfortunately, though.
You think
it'll be spread out? I do think. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it'll. There's so many options. It'll be spread out. Like it'll be more. Play your favorite pitchers, hitters. There's not a clear spot. I think you play.
I guess I don't think he's gonna be overlooked. I guess out of all these, names up here, I think he comes in lower than. I think he might be like the 5th or 6th ISO guy. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we'll see for sure. But I mean, I think Strider definitely makes some sense. If you like pitcher today, play who you like. It'll be spread out amongst some of the other guys. Bats spread out as well. So that's pitching on this 13-game slate. Do us a favor, hit that like button for us, please. Hit that big red subscribe button. Over 430 watching, 125 likes. We appreciate you guys hitting the like button. If you want to be a member, you want to see the premium show tonight, who DC's on for pitching, playbook, core plays, all of that. You do have to be a member. RPS Eater 25 gets you 25% off. And if you are a member, make sure you get in the Discord. It's always a great time. I'll be in Discord today, the MMA. We got Contender Series. Probably out of the 440 people watching, there's probably 20 people that probably know what I'm talking about. But Contender Series starts tonight. Always fun. Guys can get their way to the UFC and get a contract. I'll be in the MMA. I know a couple people are excited for the fights, and we'll be talking about them in there.
Title on Saturday. Can you remind your boy to click the button that says "Don't allow fighters from the same fight" on Saturday? I mean, what a donkey! What a donkey! I was
going to say, I never heard back from you, but yeah, I was looking at.
Well, it didn't. I guess the best part about it didn't matter because I went all in on Aspinall. So
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was
but he would have been tilted if it was the other way.
Gosh, if he crushed, yeah. I mean, because I was on all the other dudes, I had the fights right, and I was in a hurry in the morning. Landon had a baseball tryout Saturday morning, so I had to get everything in at like 8. So I woke up early, got it done, and then he texted me like, "Dude, I think you allowed fight stacks." And I came home, and sure enough, I didn't click the button, just like a complete donkey.
I was looking. It took me probably 20 seconds. Like, what is going on with hoops lineups? Yeah, and then I was I see a bunch of Chris Curtis and Jack Hermanson. I'm like, oh, that's not good. But yeah, I'll remind you this week. Always a good time. But Aspinall, that knee injury, that was 2 weeks in a row.
God.
Ortega and Aspinall. 2 injuries in a row. That is pretty tough.
Yeah.
But that's enough of that. Again, RPS Heater 25 gets you 25% off. K-Fleet Burner. I know you would like Dana White's Contender Series. Let's go, K-Fleet. Let's get in game by game, though. Back to MLB. Starting with the first game on the slate. Tampa Bay Rays, Baltimore Orioles, Shane McClanahan, Spencer Watkins on the mound. I'm going to go to Gary just so he can say pass, and I'll go to who?
Definitely a pass for me. I like both pitchers here.
Who?
Next.
Atlanta Braves.
Actually, no interest in next either. So next.
Same for you. Atlanta Braves, Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, no Braves or Phillies for me.
Hey, look how fast the show can go. St. Louis Cardinals, Toronto Blue Jays, Andre Palante and Jose Barrios on the mound. Blue Jays got a good implied total. Hoop. You going to go to some of those guys today than any Cardinals?
Yeah, this is where the next stop for me, because Blue Jays, I think, are probably my favorite team on the slate. I think they smashed this guy tonight. I have not been impressed. First start out, I believe he was pretty decent. Then after that, I mean, it has not been good for him. So I'm very interested in the Blue Jays bats. It's a lineup I love. Go down to the bottom. Like, I've been playing Matt Chapman every single slate, and no one plays him. He's unowned, and he just has a ton of upside. Biggio at the bottom of the lineup you can play for cheap. It's just an easy team to stack. And then obviously you got Vlad, you got a catcher and Kirk, who might be one of the best hitting catchers in baseball. Gurriel's having a phenomenal season. Espinal's a guy we like playing. So 1 through 9 you can play here. I think they have a chance to be the winning team here tonight.
Yeah, man, it's nice to see Espinal's price finally. It was a 5K at one point.
Yeah,
say it's nice, and I'm cheering for the guy. That means he's obviously not doing too great. But in the 8 hole, right by your boy Chapman, second base, 3.4K. That's when we used to be playing Espinal. Gary, talk about the Blue Jays, Cardinals.
Yeah, so I don't like Toronto as much as Hoop does here, but I will have some. They're just a good offense. One thing that worries me with Palante, he's an extreme ground ball guy. I mean, he's got 65% ground ball rate to right-handed bats, but I mean, the results have not been there for him. And I also have been playing Chapman right up there along with Hoop, and he's just been fantastic over the last 30 days. He's got a 317 ISO, 394 WOBA against right-handed pitching. Just been really good, and he's never owned. Like, nobody ever plays this guy. His price is creeping up a little bit, but I definitely like the bottom of the order better. Just because I'm trying to play two higher price pitchers and don't really want to pay over 5K for Vlad and Springer. So I'll have a little bit of Toronto, but definitely not my favorite.
Yeah, makes sense. And if you do play Vlad, Springer, and the upper price guys, that's why you can get a little different with your Toronto stacks. And that's why we're talking about all these teams. Like, there's not clear chalk. Coors Field slate. Coors is not going to be the chalk. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty spread out. So you like the Blue Jays, play the Blue Jays. You like any of these teams, play it. Don't worry about ownership. That's how I definitely would approach it for a slate like today. Next game on the slate, Cleveland Guardians, Boston Red Sox, the Fenway game that absolutely disappointed yesterday for me. On the Guardians, we got Brian Shaw's an opener, and then they got Kirk McCarty, who looks like the long reliever. On the Boston side, they got Josh Winkowski. Winds blowing out a little bit, 80 degrees at Fenway. Good implied total for Boston. Gary, what do you like in this game?
Man, I think Boston might be one of the higher owned. I mean, they have the highest implied total on the slate. This lineup outside of Bogarts and Martinez is really bad. I don't know if I can do it on this slate. I like a couple other cheap teams. So I think I'm going to stay away from Boston here. And if it beats me, it beats me. I do have a lot more interest in the Cleveland side against Winkowski. He's been really bad against left-handed bats. Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, Andres Gimenez are going to top the list for me. Probably won't 5-man them. I'm just in love with another 5-man stack on this slate that we'll get to later, but definitely have some 2 or 3-mans here. So I'm out on Boston. I'll let y'all know my cheap team a little later, and I'm in on some Cleveland mini stacks.
Yeah, I like that. Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor going right back to them after Boston yesterday. Should be low owned. I like that for sure. Hoop, Boston, Cleveland, talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much agree with Gary. I mean, I like the Cleveland side more than the Boston side, but I don't want to go, 5-man stacks here at Cleveland. I want 3-man stacks, Ramirez, Naylor, Nolan Jones is cheap if you need a cheap bat. So, the core for me with Cleveland will obviously be Ramirez, Naylor, and then, one other guy, whoever fits. Boston, I could play, but it's going to be 3-mans again. I'm not, going to fully stack Boston. This lineup just looks like complete dog shit. And then I just don't like when teams roll out these openers and you got a bullpen game. And it just never seems to, those teams never go off facing this situation. So 3-mans, you can get some cheap bets. You get a cheap leadoff guy in Ref Snyder, Verdugo, Xander at shortstop. So it'd just be 3-man stacks on both sides, but prefer Cleveland.
Yep, makes some sense. Do us a favor, everybody. Hit that big like button for us, please. Hit that big red subscribe button to the bottom right. Breaking down all these games every single day. 2 seconds. We appreciate you guys hitting it. Let's go to the next game on the slate. San Diego Padres, Detroit Tigers, Mike Clevenger and Garrett Hill on the mound. We all like Clevenger, so I assume no Tigers. Any Padres for you? Who?
Yeah, it's a team I really have not decided on yet. I just have no conviction on what to do with the Padres here. I mean, is Garrett Hill a good pitcher? No, I don't think so. But it just seems like the Padres never get there, and that could just be an eye test thing. There's no numbers supporting that. Just seems like they just never fully get there. So I'm leaning towards fading, but I could be talked into playing them. So as of now, this game is a fade for me.
Gary, you about to talk him in, or talk him out of the Padres?
It's funny that he said the exact same words I said to Stevie Boyden earlier in a private message. He's like, oh man, I really like San Diego, and I literally said, man, it just seems like they never do anything.
It's funny.
You never seen it up top. I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, they're cheap at the bottom of the lineup. I mean, Mazzara 2,600, I guess, is okay. But I'm definitely not going to 5-man this team. They just don't, like, the eye test doesn't tell me. The eye test tells me they don't have the upside for a 5-man stack on this slate. So I'm going to probably stay away from San Diego here.
Yeah, that's my logic. I don't know, good, bad, and different. But when you scroll up at the end of each night and you don't see the Padres pretty much all year, 13 game slate, I kind of see it the same. Yeah, maybe mini stack.
Now that we all agree, they're scoring like 15,
they're gonna, yeah, right? Of course. But, hey, that's why people tune into this show. They get freebies, and we're all on the same side hating on them. They know what's gonna happen. So it's all noted. Let's get to the next game. Enough talking about them. New York Yankees and the New York Mets battle in New York. Jordan Montgomery, Taijuan Walker. I'm gonna go to you first, Gary. Someone mentioned Walker and GPPs ? We didn't touch on him at all. If you want to touch on him quick. Any bats for you in this game? 8 total. It is 80 degrees, but it's at the Mets Stadium, not the best hitters park. Talk about this game.
Yeah, I mean, as of now, I'm just making a rule never to play pitchers against the Yankees. I don't see a need to play Walker on this slate. We have all this loaded pitching. No reason to go there. But, that being said, too, I memean, both of these pitchers, they rarely get blown up, right? I mean, Taijuan Walker's numbers this season, 102 ISO against lefties, 064 ISO against righties. So I'm not going to have any bats in this game, and I'll just put my eggs in another basket.
Who?
Yeah, Sam, I just don't see the need to go here at all. This game is one from a pitching standpoint and hitting standpoint that just does not exist to me. I just don't see it anywhere. So fade.
Next game on the slate, the Minnesota Twins, the Milwaukee Brewers, Dylan Bundy and Ethan Small on the mound. This is one of my favorite games on the slate. I do like Coors Field. It's not going to be owned. This is 1A, 1B, my favorite game stack on the slate, and I don't think there's too much ownership. Dylan Bundy, I mean, guys can get to him. Hunter Renfroe didn't perform yesterday. None of the Brewers really did, but I'll go right back to Hunter Renfroe, right back to McCutchen, Tellez. I mean, the whole lineup pretty much. I'll be back in. Tyrone Taylor, of course. Then the Twins, I talked about Ethan Small. I like these Twins today, and I can play them 1 through 9, which is what I like. Miguel Sano, he's got to fit in the same bucket as a Matt Chapman, Joey Gallo, all that. They aren't great, but they do have the power to break a slate at any time. I love the Twins. I love the Brewers. I'll definitely be having some interest in this game. Talk about it, Hoop.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those spots, especially on the Twins side, where you create a little bit of leverage. I think this Ethan Small guy is going to get some ownership on DraftKings, cheap price tag. He's a prospect, but it's not a slam dunk situation by any means. And the Twins, yes, they disappoint on a very frequent basis, but they have the upside to dust them. And I actually like the lineup they threw out here. Pretty solid overall. So I prefer the Twin side, if deciding between the two, but I can always be talked into some Brewers. Rowdy Tellez, always like playing him. Renfroe disappointed last night, but prior to that, home run in 3 straight games. So it's like a high upside lineup here. Top to bottom for the Moya. I wouldn't mess with those guys down. Stop at Urias most likely. But yeah, prefer the Twins side here, but I will likely have a little bit of Brewers.
Oh, I didn't even see the lineup was out. Tyrone Taylor's not even in the lineup. That's definitely hurtful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, probably anyone but John. I always am fine throwing a catcher in my stack. Narvaez, I would throw in. Jonathan Davis would be the one I probably don't get to. Actually, Christian Yelich, Kate Fallick brought up on the previous show, has just shown no power at all. So to be honest, I probably wouldn't play him either. Got McCutchen there, Renfroe, outfield means so much. Probably wouldn't play 9 or 1. Gary, Twins, Brewers. I mean, ownership's not going to, like I said, you don't have to worry about ownership too much. These two clearly aren't going to be the chalk, though. Maybe, do I like it too much? Talk to me about this game.
So I think I'm on the opposite side of y'all. I think
All right, so I do like it too much.
No. I mean, I like this game. I get it right. Don't get it twisted. I like this game a lot, but I think I prefer the Milwaukee side by quite a bit. Nighttime Bundy is not a thing. I mean, he always gets shelled. It seems like we like to play Bundy during the day where he does somewhat better. So I like this lineup. I know Yelich he does not seem like himself, but I'm still going to play him. I like everybody in this lineup all the way down to Narvaez. I'll probably just exclude this Jonathan Davis guy. But I definitely like the Milwaukee side. And on the Minnesota side, I like them too. This small kid is not ready. You got Kyle Garlick, 3K. Jose Miranda, 3,200. I definitely prefer Jorge Polanco against a right-handed pitcher. And he's 5,100, so probably won't have much of him in the stack, but definitely like Buxton and Correa. So yeah, I like both sides here, but I think I lean on the Milwaukee side if I had to choose one.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think both spots are definitely elite, not too much ownership. I saw Travis Duarte comment in chat. I haven't heard Choco Tacos in so long. They're gone. He said rest in peace there today or something. Is that
really?
They get discontinued or something? I haven't heard, like I said, Choco Tacos. I mean, they're good for sure. Brings me back to childhood, but I don't know what that's about, Travis Duarte. You got to elaborate on that. Sad day. Yeah, I mean, that would be a pretty sad day. Even though I haven't had one in so long, I definitely would eat one right now. But definitely elaborate on that while we get to the next game on the slate. We got the Los Angeles Angels, the Kansas City Royals, Jose Suarez and Angel Zerpa on the mound. 81 degrees in Kansas City. It's not yesterday against Syndergaard. Shout out to DC. A lot of coordinators. We talked about the stolen bases. Kansas City runs the most. Syndergaard lets up a ton. Saw DC hit pretty well. Saw a lot of members who tailed did very well. If Benintendi got a second stolen base, we would have broke the whole broke Discord, all of that. But great calls there. It's not the same spot though, Gary. We don't have Noah Syndergaard on the mound. So any bats in the Angels or KC for you?
We've come to my favorite greasy team of the slate. I'm going right back to the Royals here. Jose Suarez is just really, really bad. I think he might be the worst pitcher on the slate. And that's saying quite a bit over the last 30 days. He's got a 260 ISO allowed against right-handed bats, 263 ISO allowed to left-handed bats. I mean, just monster hit distance, over 215-foot hit distance as well to both sides of the plate. I like the bottom of this lineup. You got Emmanuel Rivera. He might be my favorite play on this team. He's stone minimum on DraftKings, 2K at third base. He's definitely going to hit a bomb for us tonight.
Ooh, I like that.
Take us across the finish line at 2% probably ownership. He's just been really good this season. Looking at his overall stats on the season versus left-handed pitching, he's got a 270 ISO, 372 WOBA against lefties. So really like this team. They're really cheap. You can fit whoever you want with this team, whether it's Colorado, whether it's the White Sox, whatever high-priced stack you like. You can fit a little 2 or 3 man. I probably wouldn't 5-man Kansas City, but I definitely will have a ton of 2 and 3 mans here.
I can get behind a nice little min price 2% bomb. Sign me up for that, Gary. Hoop, I know you'll take that. Kansas City, any interest? Angels?
I do now. Now that Gary's on him, I'm interested. I mean, you look at Suarez, he's not great. I mean, there's no, the Royals are never going to have a 5.5 team total at home. Nothing big like that. So there's no way that you see the big number. They're sitting at 4.5 right now. And I'm in, a team obviously I wasn't going to play until Gary mentioned that. Whit Merrifield, Hunter Dozier, I think stand out. I mean, you get this Pasquantino guy at 2.3K. Yeah, I'm in now. I like that call. I mean, it has to be like an unowned team on the slate.
Throwing Melendez there too. He had a Rocky yesterday.
Yeah.
Don't
right
forget
there.
Michael A. Taylor. He's another stone minimum 2K outfielder.
That
Who's
whole
been hitting the
lineup,
ball.
5 to 9, all under 3K. Wow.
I mean, Michael A. Taylor's been hitting the ball pretty good as of late too. So double-digit fantasy points in last 3 games. I think 4 out of the last 6 games. So definitely like this team a ton.
There we go. I assume no Angels for you, Hoop. Just the Royals.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I just can't play this team without Trout right now. I mean, it does not look very appealing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you for sure. Next game on the slate. Go ahead, Gary.
I don't hate just leaving the top 3 in the lineup in your pool and just seeing if you get any. Ohtani, Ward, and Rengifo. Rengifo's been hitting the ball pretty good too. So yeah, I don't hate just leaving them in the pool. I'm not targeting LA. I'm not trying to jam them in my lineups. But if I leave them 3 in my pool and I get some in my MME sets, I'm okay with it.
Actually, before I even get to the next one, so yeah, Choco Taco is discontinued. David Frank said buy Klondike. Another thing at Klondike bars, haven't thought of those in forever, but man, definitely throwing back. Someone said like recipes Choco Taco, had them every lunch or something. I lived by them or something.
Yeah.
The comment made me laugh, but man, sad world. Hey, that's why I love the chat. You learn something new every single day. I do not watch the news or very much or keep up with any of that stuff. So I learned very cool facts like that I would not have known otherwise. So I appreciate that. Let's get to the next game on the slate though. Chicago White Sox, Colorado Rockies, Coors Field, Michael Kopech and Herman Marquez on the mound. It's not going to get too much ownership, or I mean, of course, the bats are going to be spread out today at the end of the day. It's at a Coors spot that's going to be 35% owned because it's a 7-game slate. It's the Dodgers, like we've kind of seen recently, it feels like. I love these Rockies against Kopech. I don't think he's any good. Think the Rockies 1 through, I know the order when it gets to the bottom, we don't have it out yet, or I don't see it out yet. But I always love Elias Diaz down there. He's easy to wrap it around with. CJ Cron always like, man, sign me up for these Rockies for sure. And I don't mind the White Sox. I like the Rockies side more. I like the Brewers in the twin spot. I don't know if I'm in a full stack Coors, but definitely the Rockies over the White Sox for me. White Sox, I wouldn't say anything bad about. Who talk about this game?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the game, right out of the gate, the White Sox are going to be the more popular team. I mean, you pull up projections, they're projecting better, but the Rockies, I think, are the squad here. And I will have some White Sox, don't get me wrong, but I want to see this lineup though, man. They have the ability to roll out some dusty ass lineups. The Rockies, like when they have Jose Iglesias like at the top of the order and shit like that, like it just really kills my interest. I need to see this lineup when it comes out. Assuming Chris Bryant's back in there, Connor Joe's back in there. I think it's all cannons like far away here. So need to see the lineup, and then on the White Sox side. Again, I mean, you can play probably everyone here. So I'm going to be loaded up on both sides of this game. Prefer the Rockies, I think, but I need to see the lineup first.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Kev Stree in chat said, correcting me, said Kopech is great. He's hurt, I think is what he's saying. I mean, he's not great right now, which is all I care about right now in DFS. Yeah, he definitely has potential long-term and when he gets healthy, but he ain't great right now. The game logs definitely shows it. So, because he's hurt, yeah, that's probably why. Gary, do you have interest against Kopech? Do you have interest in the White Sox? Talk about this game.
Yeah, the Rockies are my clear number 1 stack on the slate. Stevie and I have been talking about it for a few starts now. We're like, oh, this is the time, after this start, Kopech's going to go on the injured list, and it just never happens. I think the guy in chat, I mean, there's clearly something wrong with him. The talent is just immense with this guy, and he has just not done anything with it. Colorado, just sign me up for everybody here. Really like Charlie Blackmon here. Really like CJ Cron, Chris Bryant, all the way down. I like your Elias Diaz. I mean, he's always, look at his DraftKings log. 14, 12, 14, 17, 12, 12, last 6 games. Just produces. He's only 4,400 on DraftKings. Sign me up for this team. I'm going to have, I don't know if I can do 155 mans. I thought about it though. That's how confident I am in this Rockies team tonight. They're just going to absolutely smash. And on the White Sox side, I mean, I don't hate it. I just prefer this team against left-handed pitching. I know Marquez has not been great this year. I'm not going to five-man stack this team, and I'm not going to game stack it, but I will have some minis here.
Yeah, definitely like that. Great. Coors Field, not owned. Sign me up every single time. People talking about how I'm bricked up. Hard not to be, ain't it, when Coors Field's not owned? I like
bricked up. I like that term.
It's hard not to be in a spot like this. We got 4 games left on the slate, 560 watching, 196 likes. 300 is the number we need. Takes 2 seconds. It's kind of hurtful. I always thinking about it. Really think 560 people watching the stream, not even 200 likes. 350 people just sitting there. It's kind of hurtful. That's all I got to say. We need 300 though for the plays of the day. Like button and that big red subscribe button to the bottom right. 2 seconds. We always do appreciate it. Let's go to the next game on the slate though. We got Houston Astros, Oakland Athletics, Luis Garcia, Frankie Montas on the mound. Is that a 6.5 total I see? I mean, Hoop, you can say pass. Gary, you can say pass.
Yeah. No bats here whatsoever. I mean,
is it still 6.5? Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, 6.5. I guess the one you can always make the case for Jordan, but he didn't look good last night. He I don't know what
he's hurt his hand or something.
The hand, the at bats didn't look as good as they typically do. So maybe that's something to keep an eye on. But not playing bats here.
Gary.
Yeah, I mean, I want to play Oakland, but man, I mean, because they 175 plate appearances against Montas, they've hit them up pretty good. Got a 413 expected slugging percentage.
But you want to play Astros against Montas, you're saying?
I mean, I wanted to.
Yeah, you said Oakland. That's why I got confused quick.
Oh, yeah.
You want to Astros. Sorry. Yeah. No, you're good.
But yeah, Jordan, that wrist, something's wrong with him. I mean, but I can never say no to anybody asking if we can play the Astros. They're going to be 1% owned on the slate with their team total so low. So I don't hate it if you just want to get crazy and throw a couple if you're doing 150 lineups, but I probably will not be doing that.
There you go. If you're going to the Oakland game, Gary made it very easy because they're going to be 1% owned. You always like stacking the game up. Gary likes the Houston side a little bit, but 1% for sure they will be. Next game on the slate, San Francisco Giants, Arizona Diamondbacks, Carlos Rodon and Tyler Gilbert on the mound. So we're supposed to get Tyler Gilbert yesterday. Merrill Kelly steps in, absolutely shoves. Hoop, didn't you mention yesterday that you were going to have some interest in the Giants against the lefty and Gilbert? This slate is a little different. I don't know. Talk about this game.
Yeah, it's a bigger slate. It just the on full slates, the Giants just scare me because when the righty comes in there, a lot of these guys are gone. I just stick with the guys that are going to stay in there. Like Darren Ruff will definitely stay in there no matter what. I'm sure Flores will too. So probably end up being just like 3 mans for me on the Giants. But I honestly don't know how much of them I'll really get to.
Yep, makes sense. Gary.
Man, I love the San Francisco team, but like we all know the pinch hit risk is there, right? So Austin Slater, Wilmer Flores, Darren Ruff, Yerman Mercedes is absolutely going to get yanked as soon as a righty comes in. So, and it's probably going to be Jock Peterson coming in for him. Thairo Estrada, I really like. I think he's pretty safe. Whether whoever comes in the game, he's got really good numbers against left-handed pitching this season. But man, it's hard. Definitely cannot 5-man him due to the pinch hit risk, but I have a ton of interest in minis for sure.
Yep, I like it. 2 games left. A reminder for the like button. We need 70 likes, 2 games and stacks. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I never do. I'm doubting you guys. I really am. 70 likes this late. It's hurtful for sure, but 300 is the number. Just want to remind you. Washington Nationals, Los Angeles Dodgers, Josiah Gray, Mitch White on the mound. And you know what? I'm going to go to Gary first. So who can listen to what Gary says about the Dodgers and then make his decision off of that? Gary, you mentioned them earlier. Dodgers, Nationals. Talk about the game.
I'm not playing the Dodgers here. I can't do it. I mean, they just couldn't do anything against Paolo Espino, who is not good. And now they're getting Josiah Gray, who is their former top prospect in their organization, making his return to LA. Got a little revenge on his mind here. I'm not going to play Josiah Gray, but I'm definitely not going to play the Dodgers bats. If you look at Josiah Gray's home and away splits this year, he's got a 396 WOBA against allowed at home and a 255 WOBA against allowed on the road. He's been significantly better away, and those are equal innings home and away here too. So twice as many home runs allowed at home as away. So I can't do it. If they're going to beat me tonight, so be it. They got me again. I'm not going to be on the Dodgers.
Oop, are you going to be the one beating Gary when they're flying your teams up the leaderboards? Or are you going to be with Gary and fading them?
I have to have a little bit, not as much as I had last night.
Right.
Last night I had a ton. Tonight I will have some. After busting last night, I imagine that'll keep their ownership in check. We're not really worried about ownership anyway because we have a huge slate, but I think they could come in lower than we typically see. I'm in. I mean, probably more interested in like the lefties. Freddie Freeman, Muncy, Bellinger would probably be my favorites. I just don't think I need a ton to get over the field, so I'm gonna be I'll be in, that.
Yep, that's what I expected. We got one game left on the slate. Back in Seattle, Dane Dunning, George Kirby, Mariners. I'll go to you first. Who they have a decent implied total, 4.8. Actually, it's risen throughout the day. So I don't think we have this lineup out yet, do we? Is Julio
literally just came out. Rodriguez,
yeah.
France, Santana, Suarez, Winker, Lewis, Crawford. So pretty standard lineup for them with Julio in there. I'm not going to be on this game. I mean, it's one of these stadiums we don't like taking bets at, and on a full slate, I just don't really want to be here all that often. So off of this one.
Gary,
I have quite a bit of interest in Seattle here. I've been talking to Stevie all day, like normal. We collaborate on a lot of things throughout.
You're telling
the day.
me Stevie likes Ty France? Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, of course he likes Ty France. It's definitely a boost to this lineup with Julio Rodriguez back in it. And oh, by the way, it's going to be 90 degrees in Seattle, which we never get to see. That we don't see that on DFS sites because they always say, oh, they have a roof, but I mean it's still open air, right? So I mean it's 90 degrees.
Why do they do that?
Because they say it's got a dome, but it's like open. It's like open on both sides of the dome. So
yeah, so that makes no sense. I'm with you.
It's got really good weather here. 93 degrees at game time. Dane Dunning coming off the IL. I mean, Dane Dunning is not a good pitcher. So yeah, I have a ton of interest. I probably, like I said, I'm pretty much all in on the Rockies tonight as far as my 5-man stacks. But I like this team for minis a lot.
Yep, I like it. I'm not going to get to Seattle. I'm with Hoop. I mean, I have clear spots on the slate. Well, that leads us right into stacks. Going to check the likes when we get done with stacks. Buy a little time, not too much. I'll get back. Hopefully, we're at 300 to give the plays of the day. Someone mentioned, why would the members want to hit the like when you give away your core plays? We're not giving away our whole core. Come on, guy. You might be new. We appreciate you hanging out. Hit the like button for us, but we're just giving away a core. We're giving away a play of the day, not a whole core play. So it doesn't change that much, but we appreciate if you do hit it. To the stacks, I like the Minnesota and the Brewers game stack right there, and then I like the Rockies. So those are the three teams. I'll give you Hoop. Give me your top. I'll say top 4 stacks. There's a lot of games, a lot of good spots.
Yeah, Toronto 1. Really like Toronto. I like that Cleveland Cleveland 3-man stack, and then Colorado, who I think comes in much lower than the White Sox do tonight.
Any Cleveland stack you make, is Jose Ramirez going to be a part of it?
Yeah, it's going to be revolved around Jose Ramirez and Naylor.
Gary, top 4 stacks.
Clearly Colorado for me. Just an absolute smash matchup. Reduced ownership, just checks out every box for me. My favorite mini stack is going to be the Kansas City Royals. Going to have a ton of them tonight. Also really like the Milwaukee Brewers on this slate. In addition, my 4th team, I'm gonna stick with the Giants here, and they're going to get the job done for us tonight. So Colorado, Kansas City, Milwaukee, and San Francisco.
I like it. Just got a good notification. Nothing to do about today, but Fernando Tatis is taking batting practice today. So nothing about this slate, but man, it'd be nice to see these Padres. If Tatis was in that Padres lineup today, I think you'd like him a lot more. It's just that one name glares out like a sore thumb.
Yeah,
and makes that lineup a lot better. So it's always, every sport, you always want to see the stars in the lineup. Hopefully he'll be back in soon, but I'm going to look at YouTube chat in a bit. First, if you do want to be a member, you want to see the premium show tonight, the core plays, the playbook, DC's pitching takes, the golf premium show every Wednesday, all of that, you do need to be a member. RPS Theater 25 gets you 25% off. We also have an underdog promo code. definitely best ball season. I've been all over in the underdog and the DraftKings streets, but underdog matching deposit up to $100 if you use the promo code RUNPEER. They're not only best ball does underdog have, they have like player props and stuff like that for a lot of different sports. Really cool website. So RUNPEER is the promo code. Underdog, head over underdog, matching deposit up to $100. Moment of truth, 285. It's hurtful. It's not 300. There's nothing I can do about that. We are going to put the plays of the day in the Discord. Gary, I'll probably be the last one. I'll probably get beat to it, but it was a fun show, even though the likes weren't there. We appreciate all 286 of you that did hit it. Even if you didn't hit it, I wish you some luck tonight, maybe a min cash. I hope the people that hit it get above you in those leaderboards, though, and take it down. Look to see the RPS logos up top. Make sure to get in the premium show in 25 minutes, the live show chat. We'll see y'all in there, but that's going to do it for us. Have a great Tuesday night. For Hoop, Gary, Helmet Behind the Sticks, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.